Hi, welcome back to ITC596. This quick little video is going to look at guidance for you for assignment 4. So assignment 4 is contingency planning, 20%, so it's your big assignment, due on the 7th of February, and again, submit through Easts. Okay, so the background to this particular assignment: you've been helping DR Alarms, you've helped them recover from a series of cybersecurity attacks. You've helped them upgrade the network security, develop some security policies. However, during conversations with the managing director and the engineering manager, you learn that they don't have any sort of business continuity plan. As you continue that discussion, it becomes apparent that they've never considered any type of disaster recovery plan or anything. So you start to urge the MD to start developing these plans. And again, he is somewhat resistant, thinks this level of planning is far too advanced for his company. The engineering manager, though, then admits he was rather scared by those recent cyber attacks and particularly concerned about a potential loss of design for those new IoT monitoring devices, which I think they think is going to be a big thing for their company. He argues the loss of the designs will be catastrophic for the future of DR Alarms, which then makes the MD start to reconsider his position, and he said, okay, let's have a look at some proposals to how to develop and implement a business continuity plan for DR Alarms. So after a bit of discussion, they agreed that some of their basic requirements for contingency planning would be an RTO, a recovery time objective, of 2 hours, and an RPO, a recovery point objective, 4 hours. Neither of them, though, could give you a really good answer on the following criteria, and asked you to come up with some solutions on what do you think would be best for things like the maximum tolerable downtime, the work recovery time, and the priority for system and data recovery. So what they expect you to do is to make the maximum use of their existing resources as possible, but they understand that you are going to require some additional resources for BCP. So your BCP proposal must clearly state what are those additional resources in terms of hardware, software, locations, etc., that you think may be required. So your task is to develop a proposal for a BCP for DR Alarms, and your proposal must include a discussion of each of the following areas: the need for a BCP at DR Alarms, a business impact analysis for them, a proposal for an incident response plan, a proposal for a backup plan, and a proposal for a disaster recovery plan. So your proposal needs to use the following headings, and that's what your proposal will cover: the need for a BCP, business impact, incident response, backup, and DR. So again, a maximum word count of 5,000 words, plus or minus 10%, and your reference list as normal is not counted as part of your word count. So here we have probably an even more common scenario in private industry: a company that doesn't have any BCP and no idea what to do if anything goes wrong. Your first task is to write that proposal that discusses the need for BCP. This is where you've got to convince the MD of the need, the purpose, and the scope of those policies to protect his company in the event of a major incident. Then you need to do the following. Then you need to do a business impact analysis for DR Alarms. You need to propose an incident response plan, propose a backup plan, propose a DR plan. Okay, so remember, these are proposals and not actual plans, so you don't have to go into fine detail. You've got to propose what you want to do, how you want to do it, and how it can be achieved. So your BIA should discuss the different business processes and data of DR Alarms and their priority for impact on the business. So again, you don't need to go into enormous detail in that BIA, but you should be looking at it to say, these are the different processes, this is the data, this is the stuff which is really important, this is going to have the main impact on the business, and you need to have that analysis done so that it becomes very clear how that's going to work. You then need to discuss the policies, and we talk the policies in the same way as we did for the security policies. What is the intent, rationale, and scope of the policy? What are the mandatory requirements for them? What are the exemptions that need to be in place, if any? Okay, and you need to scale that, scope that now in terms of incident response, backup, disaster recovery. Okay, so you're proposing the policies. You don't have to write a detailed policy, just the proposal of how you're going to do this, where it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, and so forth. So again, make sure you read that case study. Read it through again, because you've used it a couple of times now, but you'll still suck some more juice out of this particular lemon. So make sure you read it again. Also, again, make sure you look at that marking criteria to see exactly what we're looking for in each question, and that way you'll get some better ideas about how to approach it. Remember, your proposal's got to make a good, logical argument for having these policies. And there are lots of clues there for you in the case study, so make sure you read it. Again, your policies don't need to be fully developed policies. These are proposals, so just cover those points that I talked about a few minutes ago. And once again, don't forget that referencing, because it's quite important. So this is that further continuation of our very real-world problem. And many smaller organisations don't have any sort of BCP planning in place, and this can be catastrophic if they have a major incident. So this again raises loads of issues that we've got to consider, particularly in the current environment. You start thinking about these issues for a small organisation, but remember, they apply just as well to a large organisation, and the attitudes that some people have in small organisations, particularly in senior management, are pretty well mirrored in some of the large organisations and government departments. I've seen them a lot in my industry, in government, and yeah, it's a fairly prevalent industry. So this is where you need to start thinking about it. You know, we've added some extra flavour here in export and sales to government, and particularly overseas governments, but it makes for a really fun approach. I hope you enjoy this one, and again, good luck.